What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the workshop. Now in today's video we're going to do some wood turning. It's been quite a while. I'm a little bit out of practice, but I have a couple of bowls that I need to make, so without further ado, let's jump in and do it. Okay, so let's jump into today's project. Now, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm even more pasty-faced for a ginger-haired Irishman today. Not feeling the best, but we shall soldier on. So, I have to do some Pot Pourii bowls. So, my wife has bought some Pot Pourii, and she wants some Pot Pourii bowls for the house. So, what she wants, she shall receive. Now, I have some of this Spalted Beech left over. So, if you remember in the last video, we made some cheese boards and stuff from that Spalted Beech that I planked up. But I also had a couple of blocks left over. Now, remember, back early on in the year, sometime around January and February, I got some Spalted Beech that was pulled from the river, and I planked up some of it and I blocked up the rest. It's a little bit punky, it has some spalting going through it, and these blocks have been sitting now for about 8 months in the workshop. They're good and dry, and yeah, we'll try and get some bowls out of them. There's some odd shapes. I'm not kind of sure what kind of bowl we're going to get, but we're going to try and make a few. Also, in an earlier video, I made some of these ash bowls, if you remember. So I want to make some more of these later on. So I still have some of those ash rings left, and they look quite nice with a little bit of Pot Pourii in them. So we're going to try some more wood turning today. So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so the first order of business is to remove the pit. So I'm going to just take a cut straight across here on the bandsaw. I'm going to fit my plate here for turning, and then I'm just going to knock off a little bit of the excess wood so we don't have to take it all off on the lathe. So nice and simple. Let's bandsaw this off. Okay, so let's jump in and do this. Now, it's been quite some time since I turned the bowl, so I'm quite looking forward to getting back into this, but I am a little bit out of practice, so yeah, we'll see how we get on. Let's do it. I'm also using a new camera lens, so hopefully it's working out. Hopefully things are a little bit clearer, because my last camera lens was basically in pieces and full of dust, so this should be a little bit clearer. So let's rock on and try and turn a bowl. Okay, so here's where we are. I'm getting a lot of tear out. My technique is not great. I need a little bit more practice, but we'll be able to smooth all this off. So I'm starting to get a nice shape emerging. It's kind of arriving organically. So I think I'm going to have like a bulb on the bottom, then have it curve in the way, so a cove in, and then a flared top. And I think that's going to be the design of this particular bowl, because it's a nice kind of chunky block. I want to keep as much of it as I can. So we're going to have a nice bulb here, a cove in, and then a flared top. Just kind of see that emerging now, so we're going to run with that. Let's do it. Okay guys, so there you can see the kind of shape of the bowl I'm going to go try and attempt to finish, but you can see I'm getting lots of tear out. The wood is quite punky, so yeah, it was in a river for a long time, so it's tearing out. It's a little bit spongy. So what I'm going to do is hit this with a load of sanding sealer now, see if I can stabilize this wood a bit. So I have some sanding sealer. This stuff goes off pretty quickly. It's a shellac based sealer, so I'm going to get this into it and see if this wood stabilizes it a little bit better and see if I can get a cleaner cut on this. If not, I foresee a lot of sanding in my future. Okay guys, so I've let the sanding sealer with the shellac go off for a while. It's gone nice and hard now, so hopefully that stabilizes the wood and I should be able to take a fine cut at a high rate of speed just to get this a little bit smoother. And then I think I'm going to move to the sandpaper because my wood turning skills are not great. It's been a while since I've done it, so I don't want to ruin this. It's quite a nice shape and I want to make sure this bowl turns out nice. So another nice light pass with the bowl gouge, good and sharp. Hopefully I can get it smoother, and then I think sandpaper to finish the outside of the bowl. Okay, so I'm still getting a little bit of tear out. It's a small bit better than what it was, but it's not really holding up too well to the tool. Again, it's probably down to my technique. The tool is razor sharp, but my technique is not great. So it's going to be sandpaper, joy and rapture. I hate sanding, but needs must. So I'm going to hit this with some sandpaper, get it all smoothed up on the outside. I'll get on and do that. You guys don't have to watch me standing here sanding. And when that's done, we'll flip the bowl around and we'll carve out the inside. Okay guys, there we go. We are all sanded up. Now that's sanded to 230 grit, so sanding was definitely the way to go. I've got a lovely smooth silky finish on this now, so we'll finish it off. When I core out the inside, I'll do a little bit more sanding on it. But yeah, I've got a nice smooth finish all the way around, pretty happy with that. You can see the spalting all the way through this now, so it's going to be quite a nice piece if I don't mess it up from here. So now I just got to core out the inside. I'm not going to shape it, I don't think, too deep because I don't have the right tools, but I'm going to core out as much as I can and get a nice kind of bowl shape inside in this. It's just going to hold some pot pourri possibly, so yeah, let's rock on and do that. Okay, there we go. I have the inside of this cord out. It always makes me nervous as hell cording out a bowl like this. I'm not the most skillful turner, and I'm always worried that the bowl is going to explode or I'm going to take a big chunk of it. So I'm going to finish this like before with a bit of sandpaper. Now I did get a bit of damage around the edge. There is some splits and cracks in this. Like I say, it's a real old kind of punky piece of wood. So I got a big piece of the edge did blow off, so I had to take it down like a half a centimetre, 5 millimeters off the lip, which changed the shape of the bowl a small bit, but not too much. So we should be able to salvage this. I'm going to finish the rest of it now with sandpaper because it's quite light stuff and I don't want to risk splitting anything else out. So I'll get sanding this up now, and when that's done, we'll pull this off and we'll look at making our next bowl shape. Okay guys, there we go, all sanded up, and I have just hit it with some Yorkshire grit, put a bit of food safe finish on it, just so it's odorless and there's no smell. And if you wanted to put some food in the bowl, you could do that too. So that's that bowl kind of taken as far as it's going to go on the lathe. So I'm going to get the next bowl up, get it turned, get it shaped, and then I'll show you that. I won't go through the whole process again because it's going to be the same thing. So let's get the next bowl on and see what kind of shape we come up with. Okay guys, there's bowl number 2. It's a little bit more of a classical bowl shape again. It kind of has a little flare on the top. There's some bark inclusions here, so hopefully this lip doesn't explode apart. It could do. We could end up with some issues here. That bark inclusion runs right through this bowl now, so it could split. Hopefully it doesn't. If we can maintain it, it might be a nice little feature. Again, we have some bark inclusion here, a little hole in the bowl, but it all adds to character on some of the bowls. I don't mind that too much. But we've got sanded to 320 grit now, so it's ready to core out the inside of this and see how we get on. So let's get on that. Guys, number 2 bowl done, a bit more of a classic bowl shape with a kind of a flare top on it. This one's nice, the bark inclusions look really nice on this one, and again, some of that spalting is still through it, so it looks quite nice. So I'm just going to hit it now with some food safe finish and then a bit of Yorkshire grit to give it its final polish up, and you can see just how nice this is. I left a fat lip on this one, so just so that bark inclusion wouldn't break this one here, because you know, the last lip was very brittle, and this one I left it a little bit thicker. So I think I'll do the rest of them kind of just similar to this now. I'll leave a kind of a fat lip going into the bowl and just round it down into the bowl then, just because it is kind of such punky and brittle wood. So yeah, there we go. That's going to look quite nice. So that's the second one down. Now I'm going to get on and turn the next 2, and then we'll have a look at all 4 bowls when we need to fix our bases and get the final finish on them. And we'll see then, because I don't want to keep boring you guys with me just turning bowls all day. I am completely dishevelled now. But we have 4 bowls turned, and over by my lathe is absolute carnage, a complete mess. I have to go clean that up now in a little while. And I could do with getting an air filter in this workshop as well, because there's so much sawdust around. I really do need to sort that out. But we have our 4 bowls turned, and I could do with a good stiff drink now after all that. Oh, speaking of stiff drinks, I have a whiskey channel. Just said I'd let you guys know if you haven't heard about it already. I'll link it up here and link it below. So if you're into your whiskey, your bourbons, or your scotch, come and join me over there. It'll be all about everything whiskey, and a bit of fun, a bit of crack, and a bit of a laugh, and a few drinks as well. So if you're into that kind of thing, link below, link it above. The Whiskey Shed it's called. Come and join me over there. Now, back to these bowls. So we have 4 completely unique bowls turned. I got to use up those Spalted Beech blocks that I had in the workshop for the last 6 months, so that's good. And they turned out quite nice. I'm quite happy with them. So we have a kind of a tulip shape one, which is kind of a big, tall tulip shape, more of a classic bowl shape. Then I went for a nice, simple, straight edge one. I really like this. Sometimes keeping things simple can be the best. And we have one on a pedestal as well. So they turned out quite nice. I'm pretty happy with them. I put on the food safe finish, that chestnut finish, just in case I want to put some food, nuts, things like that in here instead of Pot Pourii. You can do that too, and it doesn't colour the wood, just makes all the grain pop and doesn't actually stain it. So we have to finish all these bowls now. We've got to cut the tenons off and finish the bases, polish them up and get some finish on them, and then we'll see what they're like. We're just about there. Just going to hit these now with the Japanese saw, and just saw off these tenons, and then I can sand them flat. It would certainly be a lot easier if I had a bowl attachment for the lathe. I must get one, and you can just turn these tenons off then. Simple enough. So I left the tenons a little bit proud so I didn't cut into the base, and I don't want to spend a whole hour sanding these, so I'm just going to use my 4.5 smoother There's a good sharp blade in it. And just plane down what's left of the tenons. I have a bench dog set up in front of this and just wrap the bowl in a towel just to stop it getting marked. Right, you're not going to believe it, guys. After all my hard work, I only went and dropped this one on the floor and took a big chip out of the lip. Now, my floor is full of chippings and offcuts, so I'm not going to find that in a million years to glue it back on. So now, the question is, what do I do? Do I make it look like a little spout? Do I leave it as a conversation piece? Do I put a little round bit in there? I think we might try and round it with a foil or something. Let's try and sort this out. Okay, I'm just going to try and round this out with a little foil, and if anybody asks, I'm telling them that's where you poured liquid out from. So yeah, we'll try and make it look like it's a little spout and that it was meant to be in this vase or whatever we're making. As they say, if you have to look at it, make it a feature. Okay guys, that's the best I can do. The wood is so punky, it just keeps tearing out. So the more I go at it, even with the sandpaper, it just keeps pulling out bits. So I've added a bit of sanding sealer to it, and hopefully it'll stabilize it a bit. But it's a flaw now, it's a character flaw, and we all have character flaws. And when you're in a hole, stop digging. So I'm going to leave it at that now. And if anybody asks, it's a spout for pouring things out. Yeah, that's my excuse anyway. But the rest of them look pretty good. I have to say, the colors on these now are really spectacular. I love the spalting going through them. It's almost like a tiger skin kind of effect, or a snake skin on some of them. It's really, really nice. So yeah, not too bad apart from the little flaw, but these things happen. You just soldier on and do your best. So now let's get some of the pot pourri in them, and yeah, we're just about there. Right guys, there we go, another little project complete. So 4 bowls for pot pourri, turned on the lathe. Haven't done a lathe project in quite some time. It was less of a how-do, more just to kind of to show and tell, a little bit of inspiration to show you the different types of bowls that you can actually turn. Again, I'm no expert on the lathe, that's why I didn't do a how-to video. It's just to give you guys some idea of what can be done, and it's a nice little project. I needed to make them, so I said I'd share the process with you guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It smells absolutely fantastic right here, right now. I have to say, this stuff smells really, really good, and the flour sits right in the little hole in the bowl, so it was made for a flour. That's my excuse now. So there we go guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that one. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Comments and questions below, anything you want to know, anything you want to ask, just get involved, get in the comments there. Again, if you're new here, think about subscribing, and if you're into your whiskey, come over and join me in the whiskey shed for a bit of fun, a bit of crack, a bit of whiskey, and some good times. So I'll see you there. Now guys, time to get out of here because it is actually time for a whiskey. I'll see you later.